that has managed to get through against all the odds, strikes and snowstorms, being here in Helsinki this morning. On behalf of the European Commission, I have a great pleasure and delight to welcome you all to the EuroAfrica-ICT week here in Helsinki. And I think this has been really endorsed as a formal side event of the Africa-EU summit that was held in Tripoli last week, where I had also personally privileged to be present for a while. Today we need to translate the current political momentum into boosting both scientific and ICT partnerships between Africa and Europe. And during the summit in Tripoli, the African and EU leaders have indeed adopted a new action plan for implementing Africa-EU partnership for science, information society and space in 2 years to come. And this is great news. And this recognition of ICT as a critical driver to fast-track African transformation has already emphasized that during the African Union Summit focused on ICT for African development that was held in January in Addis Ababa. On this occasion, African Union leaders declared ICTs as a top-level priority in their development programs and paved the way for the necessary reforms and programs to be launched. This will undoubtedly unleash the full potential of those technologies on the continent. We all know about African mobile boom that also Minister Väyrynen was referring to, with a number of mobile users that grew from nearly 10 million in 2000 to almost 400 million today, and the mobile network currently covering around 90% of the urban population in Africa. We all know what triggered this. It was the first wave of market liberalization and private investments that are the origins of these impressive developments. Through innovative business models, I think that these prepaid billing systems, matching payments to income, as well as infrastructure sharing, network operators are really now cutting the costs and increasing the accesses. But these efforts have limitations without favorable regulatory environments, licensing and taxation regimes that further promote businesses, investments and penetration instead of inhibiting them. There is a lot to do here, as these high levels of coverage hide to a certain extent significant variations among and between the countries. ICTs have a unique potential to fast-track African development, especially as far as the Millennium Development Goals achievement are concerned, and fast-tracking is the name of the game. ICTs have indeed a huge and rapid transformational power in all socio-economic sectors. They are also remarkably cost-effective regarding the provision of services in areas like healthcare, education, energy, environment, transport, government administration, trade and finance. The near ubiquity and increasing affordability of mobile phones in developing countries, along with the growing availability and affordability of connectivity and internet services, highlight the potential for a strategic shift in the way that ICT can have an impact on development. In order to best exploit the concrete opportunities those technologies offer, we must act on our side on the most operational basis. No need to reinvent the wheel here, as priorities and action plans are already on the table. What is needed is a concrete commitment and leadership to implement them. Our forum is a very important milestone in this context, offering direct interaction between African and European experts in order to harness the enormous opportunities offered by ICT and related services for socio-economic growth. The Africa-EU cooperation related to those objectives and achievements of successful African internet and broadband markets relies very much on two complementary partnerships. Firstly, the partnership on infrastructures which support the rollout of physical broadband infrastructure. And secondly, the partnership on science, information society and space, which supports complementarity of capacities, notably in the field of regulation, human resources, local content and applications. Based on these existing frameworks and due to the synergies with the EU Digital Agenda flagship initiative that was adopted earlier this year as the European related digital strategy, we are working hand in hand with our two organizations, African Union Commission and the European Commission. We are developing a sound partnership based on mutual respect, trust and interest, focused on delivering concrete results. Our goal is indeed to maximize the impact through better alignment of the national development programs on a common set of priorities, avoiding fragmentation of initiatives, federating critical mass of resources. This implies a strong mobilization and involvement from the public and private stakeholders and reinforced cooperation and a re-engineering of the current programming methods. Financial instruments need to be reviewed accordingly and adapted to this new context. We are looking at making our funding mechanism more reactive and accessible to cope with the dynamics and needs of the ICT sector. Innovative multi-stakeholder cooperation has to be established, involving public and private actors as well as financial institutions. There are challenges, but despite those challenges, we can also recognize that there are concrete progress that has already been achieved. Today and tomorrow you will have a deep overview of our different cooperation frameworks and financial instruments, and the different initiatives that were already launched or selected, from infrastructure deployment, support to regulatory reforms, human capacity building programs, up to the research and development projects. ICTs are indeed essential drivers of innovation in all socio-economic sectors, and there is a strong potential in Africa. This is notably highlighted by many innovative mobile applications that were referred also by Minister Väyrynen, that were developed locally in Africa in field of mobile banking, but also in health, agriculture, e-government domains. Besides adapting business models and environments, developing infrastructures and human capacities, some technological issues need to be tackled to ensure the widespread use of our ICTs. And these include, for instance, low-cost devices, user interfaces, content generation, and provisioning systems up to the network, self-configuration and healing. Beyond global challenges related to the health and environment, there is a strong need for local adaptation in order to make technological developments relevant and usable, taking into account African local needs and environments. Our objective through this forum is to offer you an opportunity to network and exchange of these subjects through thematic technical sessions. EuroAfrica-ICT is a platform funded by the European Commission to facilitate the identification of collaborative research projects and to promote the African participation in the European ICT research program, FP7. An essential element to make this cooperation successful is to perceive it in terms of the mutual interest and benefits. And I strongly believe African and European ICT scientific communities to learn a lot from each other and develop strong and durable partnerships together. And in the conclusion, I would like to thank very warmly the Finnish government and Minister Väyrynen for hosting this EuroAfrica-ICT Week and contributing to its organization. Thank you very much and for your attention.